Hi, my name is Ed Aviza, and I'm a strategic account specialist at Cloudbakers, a Google Cloud Premier partner. Today, we're going to do a lightning round trying to discuss 5 topics in about 5 minutes, comparing Microsoft Azure to Google Cloud Platform, or GCP for short. We'll begin with looking at complexity versus simplicity. Then we'll move on to innovation and discuss why Google is one of the most innovative, if not the most innovative, cloud platform provider on the planet. Then we'll look at performance, reliability, and cost. Next, we'll look at Gartner's opinion. And finally, we'll end on a summarization of why GCP is the best cloud platform for your business needs. Let's get started. Complexity is Microsoft's middle name. Pricing is difficult, licensing is difficult, software is designed in a manner that makes it challenging to use. Compared to Azure, Google Cloud Platform is simple and elegant, but not simplistic. Let's take a look at some examples. On Microsoft Azure, there's a tendency to productize every variation of a service. For example, if you need a load balancer, you can choose load balancer, application gateway, traffic manager. There are a number of different products that provide various load balancing services. Each one has a separate SKU, and each one is a completely different product. On GCP, you select a load balancer, then you walk through a series of steps to configure that load balancer using options and parameters. A similar scenario exists on the storage side. In terms of user interface design, Azure Blades are designed to make it easy to use, but often it makes things more cumbersome and complex. You'll notice as we continue to click into different options, you eventually run out of screen space. If you continue to click forward, you'll lose some of the blades to the left, and it may get complicated to find your way back or to remember where you started from. GCP, by contrast, provides a single pane of glass for your projects. You can configure the dashboard and see all your infrastructure and services at a glance. If you want to add a new service or resource to your infrastructure, when you click the menu, you'll notice that the main screen darkens a bit to make sure it makes it easy to keep your attention in the right place. It's a very simple design, but it's much more elegant and easy to use. In a nutshell, there are a number of ways to get from point A to point B, but I think most of us would agree that a straight line is the most efficient and the quickest way to accomplish your tasks. Now let's talk about innovation. According to Doug Cutting, the founder of Hadoop, Google is living a few years in the future and sends the rest of us messages. Google is one of the most prolific contributors to the open source community. Now, if you'd like to read this slide in detail, feel free to pause and read through it. Let's just focus on Kubernetes. Kubernetes has become a buzzword in the industry. Google created this product as a way to manage and orchestrate containers. It has become a standard, and both Microsoft and Amazon have implemented a Kubernetes service. Before I move on, however, I want to focus on Cloud Spanner. If you're not familiar with the CAP theorem in terms of database design and practice, take a look on Google for it. Cloud Spanner is a unique offering in the marketplace with a horizontally scalable, strongly consistent, globally scoped relational database. GCP's AI features are years ahead of what others offer. For example, Google created TensorFlow, another open source project. TensorFlow is a core component of machine learning systems. Google also created TPUs to process tensors more efficiently and quickly. These are proprietary processing units that speed up your machine learning work significantly. Now, let's look at performance, reliability, and cost. Criterion Laboratories has created a service capability measure that looks at performance, reliability, and cost. You'll notice that GCP is all the way to the far right, which means that Google has the best service capability across the board. The horizontal bars in this slide indicate the range of expected performance and cost. Google has the shortest of all these bars, which means its performance and costs are the most predictable and the most reliable of all these platforms. Now let's take a look at total reported downtime. As you can see, Azure had by far the most reported downtime of all the 3 platforms. In the cloud, networking is a critical factor in terms of performance. You'll notice that Google leads the way on maximum networking throughput. In addition, network latency is a measure of responsiveness. The minimum average latency of Azure exceeds that of GCP by a long shot. And finally, let's look at cost. GCP has the most reliable and predictable cost model of all the platforms. So what does Gartner have to say about all this? One Gartner analyst said, enterprises frequently lament the quality of Microsoft technical support and field solution architects, and of course, the increasing cost of support. Another Gartner analyst states that one of the downsides of Azure has been a series of outages over the years, including a major global outage in May of 2019. Now let's look at data security. As you can see, Google is all the way up in the far right of this magic quadrant. Google leads in terms of a strong strategy and a strong ability to deliver. Next, we'll talk about integration. In modern computing, APIs are often used as a way to integrate legacy systems and cloud systems or on-prem systems. Google is by far and away the leader in full lifecycle API management with their Apigee product. And finally, Google is a leader in cloud AI developer services. Why Google Platform? Let's review. Google may very well be the most innovative cloud company on the planet. Big data is in its blood. The history of Google as a company began with a mission to organize the world's data and make it available to everyone. Google has been dealing with big data challenges since the day it was born. GCP is also the most reliable cloud platform with the most consistent service capability and the most predictable cost model. Google also has one of the largest private global networks on the planet with the best performance and throughput and the lowest latency. And finally, Google offers the best cost model all up with tremendous amount of predictability, many ways to optimize your spend and save money while maximizing the value you get from a cloud platform. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Cloudbakers. You can find us at cloudbakers.com.